Welcome back, tennis enthusiasts, to what might just be the most extraordinary game-changing, jaw-dropping narrative we have ever enjoyed the privilege of documenting on this platform. If you are just now joining, or if you have somehow been fully unplugged from the athletic universe over the past fortnight, brace yourselves. We are currently observing an irregularity. We are observing the type of monumental competitive legend that defies reasoning, crushes forecasts, and totally rewrites the established pecking order of ladies' tennis. Forget the expected dominance of the highest-ranked entries. Forget the familiar rivalries that have dominated the front pages for the previous several years. The entire tennis universe exists in a state of total, pure, unedited amazement, and the center of this global tremor is a youthful, incredibly gifted competitor from the Philippines, Alexandra Eala. What we are seeing is not simply an upset. An upset is a fortunate day. An upset is a top contender having an off evening while an underdog plays the contest of her existence. No, what Alexandra Eala has arranged on her unmatched route to the championship is a methodical, unyielding, and wondrous destruction of the Women's Tennis Association's absolute cream. We are discussing a historic obstacle course. We are discussing a pathway to the title match that scans like a directory of modern tennis aristocracy. Eala has not merely snuck through an unblocked bracket. She has marched through the flames, confronting Leylah Fernandez, Jasmine Paolini, Alina Rybakina, and Coco Gauff. She has captured the absolute best this sport offers, stared them directly in the eye, and walked away successful. To genuinely grasp the sheer scale of this accomplishment, we need to examine the present terrain of women's tennis. For the last few campaigns, we have resided in an age defined by a clear upper level. You hold Iga Swiatek, the uncrowned queen of the courts, a player whose strategic brilliance and heavy rotation have rendered her an unstoppable power, especially when the wagers are greatest. You hold Coco Gauff, the phenomenal American talent whose athletic supremacy, defensive proficiency, and pure determination have established her place as a global icon and Grand Slam victor. You hold Alina Rybakina, the cool-headed server whose effortless strength and destructive ground strokes can blast any opponent off the court on any given day. These women, together with a pick few others, have created an almost unbreakable stronghold at the apex of the rankings. They are the ultimate adversaries of the tennis realm. For a young, rising star, merely claiming a set off one of these giants is considered a massive career landmark. Beating one is a headline. Conquering all of them consecutively in a single tournament, that is the fabric of legends. That is a sports film script that Hollywood would refuse for being excessively unbelievable. Yet Alexandra Eala has turned it into reality. This young woman, carrying the hopes and dreams of an entire country on her shoulders, has entered onto the largest phases in athletics and performed with a veteran's composure, a champion's soul, and an utter refusal to be frightened. Emerging from the Rafa Nadal Academy, we always knew Eala possessed tremendous promise. We witnessed her brilliance in the youth circuits, her historic junior Grand Slam triumphs, and her steady climb up the professional standings. But promise is merely a commitment. It is the execution that separates the competent from the tremendous. What we have seen over this event is the abrupt, explosive fulfillment of that commitment. The tennis world is stunned because Eala has bypassed the conventional learning arc. She has not merely tapped on the entrance of the elite, she has booted it off its hinges. The repercussions of this streak are being experienced from the bustling avenues of Manila to the pristine meadows of Wimbledon. From the clay courts of Roland Garros to the hard courts of New York, every pundit, every former athlete, every analyst who earns a living forecasting the sport has been required to shred their notations and watch in quiet disbelief. This is a landmark occasion, a pivot point in the record of the sport, where a fresh identity has permanently engraved itself into the awareness of every tennis fan on the earth. Let us now start a comprehensive match-by-match breakdown of this miraculous expedition. To fully appreciate the path to the finals, we must dissect the tactical, physical, and psychological conflicts Alexandra Eala has fought and conquered against the finest in the world. The gauntlet started with a spectacular encounter against Leylah Fernandez. This matchup alone was enough to produce massive excitement. Leylah Fernandez, a Grand Slam finalist, a player known for her incredible grit, her distinctive left-handed angles, and her ability to feed off the crowd's energy. For Eala, confronting Fernandez was entering a kind of mirror. Both are exceptional left-handed competitors. Both possess an incredible fighting spirit and both have the capacity to redirect pace with astonishing precision. The tennis community anticipated a grueling, high-intensity war, and they were not let down. From the opening point, it was a tactical chess battle played at 100 miles per hour. Fernandez immediately attempted to enforce her signature brand of aggressive baseline tennis, taking the ball incredibly early and trying to hurry Eala into mistakes. But Eala, demonstrating a newfound maturity in her movement, declined to be pushed backward. She maintained her ground on the baseline, absorbing Fernandez's speed and using her own heavy cross-court forehand to trap Fernandez into the backhand corner. What distinguished this match was Eala's outstanding defensive transitioning. Whenever Fernandez succeeded in finding an angle, Eala was present, not merely to send the ball back, but to counteract the aggression with deep, arcing, neutralizing shots that restarted the rally. The mental courage required to outgrind a player as tenacious as Fernandez cannot be exaggerated. Eala won this clash not only with her racket but with her intellect, demonstrating early on that she owned the stamina and the tactical patience to survive the ditches. But surviving Fernandez was merely the preface. The following chapter brought Jasmine Paolini. Paolini is the embodiment of the modern, relentless counterpuncher. Following a phenomenal season that saw her soar up the rankings, Paolini has established herself as one of the cleverest, most physically demanding players on the tour. She's a wall that strikes back. She chases down every ball, forcing her rivals to hit 3 or 4 winning shots just to claim a single point. Against Paolini, the danger is overplaying. The irritation builds as your best shots return floating, and the urge to aim for lines and risk unforced mistakes becomes overwhelming. This is where Eala's tennis IQ truly shone brightly. Instead of trying to blast through Paolini, Eala engaged in a masterclass of point construction. She used vicious slices to shift the rhythm of the rallies, dragging Paolini out of her comfort zone. Eala heavily used the drop shot, a daring tactic against a player as swift as Paolini, but one she performed with surgical accuracy. By forcing Paolini to sprint forward and then immediately lobbing or passing her, Eala broke down the Italian's tempo. It was a lovely display of all-court tennis. Eala showed the globe that she is not just a baseline basher. She is a shot crafter with profound understanding of geometry and court positioning. She disassembled Paolini's defensive shield fragment by fragment, an exhausting, mentally draining duty that Eala handled with the calm attitude of a seasoned veteran. And then arrived the quarterfinals, Elena Rybakina, the Frozen Queen, a completely different beast entirely. If the preceding matches were about grit and tactical subtlety, this match was about survival against raw, unadulterated force. Rybakina possesses arguably the most lethal serve in women's tennis today, combined with flat, piercing ground strokes that leave rivals with zero time to react. Playing Rybakina is like attempting to defuse a bomb while beneath heavy artillery barrage. The strategy against Rybakina is usually simple in theory but almost impossible in practice. Guard your own serve at all costs and pray for a tiny opening on her serve. Eala's return game in this match was nothing short of miraculous. Reading the toss, anticipating the direction, Eala managed to put an astonishing percentage of Rybakina's first serves back into play. But merely returning the ball is insufficient against the Kazakh star. If you float a return, the point is finished. Eala used an incredibly compact swing on her returns, blocking the ball deep down the center of the court to eliminate the angles for Rybakina's aggressive first strikes. Once in the rally, Eala consciously avoided giving Rybakina pace to feed upon. She threw high, heavy topspin balls that forced Rybakina to generate her own pace from uncomfortable heights, inducing an uncharacteristic number of unforced errors from a former Wimbledon champion. The sheer reflexes and hand-eye coordination Eala displayed in the most high-pressure moments of this match proved that she has the physical tools to handle the heaviest hitters on the tour. It was a victory of agility over artillery, of anticipation over pure velocity. As if the tennis gods were actively testing the limits of human endurance, the semifinal presented the ultimate challenge: Iga Swiatek, the world number 1, the undisputed dominant force of the era. To beat Iga Swiatek, you have to play flawless tennis. You have to endure her suffocating topspin, her incredible movement, and the psychological weight of her presence. Swiatek doesn't just defeat her opponents, she overwhelms them, shattering their spirit with her relentless intensity. When Eala stepped onto the court against Swiatek, the atmosphere was electric. This was David versus Goliath. Swiatek started with her trademark intensity, trying to dictate with her massive forehand, but Eala, perhaps channeling her training on the clay courts of Mallorca, matched Swiatek spin for spin. Eala's left-handed forehand into Swiatek's backhand became the central battlefield of the match. Eala managed to find a depth and weight of shot that prevented Swiatek from stepping inside the baseline. More importantly, Eala showcased an absolute refusal to be intimidated. When Swiatek hit incredible winners, Eala did not flinch. She reset, refocused, and continued to execute her game plan. The pivotal moments came on the crucial break points. Swiatek, accustomed to opponents crumbling under pressure, found a player in Eala who actually elevated her level when backed into a corner. Eala saved break points with audacious winners down the line, taking the racket out of the world number 1's hands. As the match progressed, you could see the frustration building in Swiatek. The unbeatable aura was cracking. Eala was not just hanging on, she was actively dictating the terms of engagement. When Eala secured match point, the stadium erupted. She had done the impossible. She had outplayed, outthought, and outlasted the best player in the world. But the gauntlet was incredibly not over. The tennis universe demanded one more titanic clash to solidify this run. Coco Gauff, the reigning superstar of American tennis. If Swiatek was the ultimate test of technique and strategy, Gauff was the ultimate test of pure unbridled athleticism and mental fortitude. Gauff's ability to cover the court is unmatched. She turns defense into offense in the blink of an eye, and she feeds off the crowd's energy like no other player on tour. Facing Gauff after the emotional and physical toll of the Swiatek match seemed like an impossible request. Yet, Alexandra Eala stepped up once again. This match was a physical war of attrition. The rallies were brutally long, stretching from corner to corner. Gauff used her incredible speed to track down Eala's best shots, forcing Eala to hit extra balls constantly. The key to Eala's victory here was her aggressive court positioning. Realizing she could not simply outrun Gauff, Eala chose to take time away. She stepped inside the baseline on Gauff's second serves, applying immediate pressure. She utilized the net brilliantly, recognizing that finishing points at the net was the only way to avoid the grueling baseline exchanges where Gauff thrives. Eala hit stunning approach shots and backed them up with incredibly soft hands at the net. The match swung back and forth, a true heavyweight battle of the modern era. In the final deciding moments, it was Eala's unwavering belief that carried her through. She trusted her shots, swinging freely even when the tension was thick enough to slice with a knife. She hit through the nerves, overpowering one of the greatest athletes in the sport to secure her place in the final. This unbelievable sequence of victories, Fernandez, Paulini, Rybakina, Swiatek, Gauff, is not just a list of names. It is a comprehensive curriculum of modern tennis. Eala had to prove she could beat the grinder, the counterpuncher, the power server, the tactical genius, and the supreme athlete. She faced every possible style, every possible challenge, and she solved every single puzzle. This deep dive into her tactical adjustments, her mental resilience, and her sheer physical endurance reveals a player who is entirely complete. Alexandra Eala is no longer just a prospect. She has forged herself into an absolute titan of the sport right before our very eyes. As the dust settles on this absolutely mind-bending journey, the entire sporting world is left to process what we have just witnessed. Alexandra Eala's road to finals is a story that will be told and retold for generations. It transcends the boundaries of the tennis court. It is a monumental triumph of the human spirit, a testament to years of unseen grinding, unwavering dedication, and an absolute unshakable belief in oneself against overwhelming odds. For the Philippines, and indeed for all of Southeast Asia, the impact of this run is immeasurable. Eala has single-handedly ignited a tennis revolution. She has proven to millions of young dreamers watching on their screens that no matter where you come from, no matter what the established order looks like, greatness is achievable if you are willing to put in the work and refuse to back down. She has shattered glass ceilings and redefined what is possible for a player from her region. The cultural resonance of her success will inspire a new generation of athletes to pick up a racket and aim for the absolute highest peaks of the sport. For the WTA Tour, this is a massive wake-up call. The establishment has been officially disrupted. The era of a predictable top tier has been completely blown wide open by a player who refuses to adhere to the script. Alexandra Eala has put the entire locker room on notice. There's a new apex predator on the tour, and she fears absolutely no one. Whether she lifts the trophy in the final or not, her legacy in this tournament is already cemented in stone. She has given us the greatest giant-killing run in recent tennis history. Thank you so much for joining me for this extensive deep dive into a truly historic moment in sports. If you found this analysis insightful and want to stay updated on all things tennis, make sure you hit that like button. It really helps push this content out to other passionate fans. Subscribe to the channel and turn on those notification bells so you never miss a breakdown, a review, or a live reaction as we continue tracking the incredible, ever-evolving landscape of professional tennis. The finals are up next, and I guarantee you will not want to miss a single second of it. Until next time, keep watching the courts, and I will see you in the next video.